believe that love is an uncontrollable force. It's a silent killer that shows up.
And I think reading so many books through my whole childhood, like I never left home without a book with me. And so eventually my goal was to be an author. And so I wrote one book. It's called Heart of Diamonds, and it's a trilogy.
Wow.
The 3 small books or short stories in the inside is From the Rich to Riches, because I'm from Richmond. And then The Come Up and The Power of Love is the 3rd one. And so I kind of want to make the sequel, but I'm a little scared to release it. And then I have like maybe 20 different book titles and thoughts that I've written like a paragraph or a few pages for.
Where can the people find those the book you wrote?
The book Heart of Diamonds is on Amazon.
Okay.
I use some sort of book outlet that kind of puts it everywhere. So I know it's on BarnesandNobles.com. I think it's on a lot of different book outlets.
Right.
And it's Heart of Diamonds by Nyesha Nicole Harris.
Right. Okay. Man, and I love having authors here.
Yeah.
Because we can talk about the process. Because it's definitely a process when writing a book.
Ooh, tell me about it.
I did my little research before you came in here because I want to respect all my guests that come here. I want to know about them. And I seen your YouTube channel and your segments on love, right?
Wow.
I love it. We're gonna get to that.
Okay.
But tell me about like your writing process, how long it took you to write those books, and was there any struggles, challenges, or anything good that just came out of it in general?
Yes. What was interesting is that I have been writing a book forever, and you'll stop and start. I had come across this man named D.B. Bedford. He's an emotional intelligence coach. I think he's from.
Is it the brother with the beard? Okay.
He actually, I met him through work. They had hired him to do emotional intelligence training there. And I had a boss who was nice enough to give me 10 individual sessions with him just for him to work with me one-on-one on my EI. And when I talked to him about it, he told me about that outlet, createspace.com or something, where you could publish a book for free. And they give you the ISBN, cover everything. Of course, you gotta choose if you want to let them get a cut or if you want to go solo with it. But I also was trying to finish college, and I took my English course at Laney. And I had the pleasure of having Professor Porter as my teacher, and he's another guy that's from Oakland who's a professor.
Shout out Porter.
Yes. And he like read it, and he would tell me like, you need more narrative, you need more of this, more of that. And he encouraged me to like hit send, but that was the hardest thing, was pressing the publish button.
How was that like letting somebody read your work, a very vulnerable work? How was that?
It was hard.
Was it any resistance there?
It was. He made me feel comfortable. The first person I shared it with was my uncle, because I had wrote about him in the book, but he decided to share it with my aunt without me giving him the authorization to do so. And then I kind of had to go back and fix it and make sure that I put more things about my love for her as well, because I don't tell everybody, but my book, I turned it into fiction, but it's a story of my life. And it was kind of deep for me.
I understand that. And the reason why we do that sometimes is because maybe we're trying to protect people, or maybe we just, it's art, but it's also realism that you want to get out there. But you want to get out there by respecting everybody. But as we all on this journey, our journey intersects with other people, and our stories become theirs, and theirs become ours.
Very true.
And we are allowed to tell our story, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot just to expose, like growing up in Richmond as a teenager and losing, family.
Right.
But the book is a story of resilience, and it just shows that no matter where you come from and what you've gone through, you can still be whoever you want to be in the end.
Right. What do you think is the most, and I hear you talk about resilience, and what do you think is your most admirable quality about yourself?
I would say love.
Love. Love. Yep.
Yeah.
And that brings it into what I was. Every guest I have on here, right? I learn something from them. And I watch these interviews so much. It seems like sometimes you can sit down and take it for granted, but the more you watch it, the jewels that's been passed. Before you got in here, and I watched your podcast, and you was talking about love. And you was talking about how you think it's the most powerful thing ever. Could you share for the people that haven't seen your podcast, and go check out Nyesha's podcast on YouTube, right? For the people that haven't seen it yet, can you share those 3 examples of love?
If I remember them, I know I talked about self-love.
Yep, self-love.
That one is really big for me because it's something I'm working on, and I was just sharing with others what I need, knowing that others need it as well. I think I talked about love and relationships, and kind of understanding when you have to let go and when to keep pushing. And what was my third one? I don't remember. Self-love, love and relationships.
Was it just
why love? I think was the first one that I talked about, and that's when I talked about love being the most powerful thing that exists. Because I don't think people understand that love can heal so much, like all of the wounds, the loss that people grief, like it's just so much. If you can love people, it helps you to get through a lot of things that you're dealing with.
What about, do you think love always comes in the same form? As always, like, do you think love is always like sunshine and happiness, or do you think sometimes love get dirty and get
definitely you gotta really be willing to go through some things, or I don't think it will ever like last. When you think about old school, like our grandmas and grandfathers, I can only imagine how much they went through and still stayed together for 50, 60 years. And I'm sure it was infidelity, lies, trust issues, whatever, but nobody's perfect. So either you're going to leave and go get with another imperfect person, or you can try and stay in there and with what you have and try and make it work.
That's good. One thing I took from it is like the 2-day rule. Give yourself a 2-day rule. Something go on, and you can employ this in just about any part of your life, right? You can be, I love what I do. I love poetry and stuff like that. But poetry ain't always like. I had an old coach. He'd be like, and I played football. He said, football is like a girlfriend. Sometimes they don't always love you back. You know what I mean? And sometimes like whatever we do don't always love us back, and we suffer a lot of failure and what we perceive to be failure, and we can't just sit in that, but I like what you said. You said give yourself 2 days to feel it, really go through it, and then move on. Move on. Do you still use that?
I do. When I'm going through things, I know that you have to allow yourself to feel those feelings and go through it. Like you can't just block it off completely, or it's gonna keep resurfacing. So even if you have to spend a day in your room by yourself to go through those emotions, cry, be mad, whatever it takes. But after a couple days, you gotta shake it off and keep it pushing. Like you can't dwell on it for the rest of your life, you know? So I try and use that as my rule of thumb.
That's good, because life goes on.
It really does. It does.
And it's kind of unfortunate to say, but people pass. But as people pass, life is still moving, and you still here, and you still gotta go, and you still got something to work for, And just like anything else, things will come and go. But you still got to show up, right?
Yeah. I lost most of my immediate family that I grew up with as a kid. You know, it's been a long time now, but growing up in a household with just me, my mom, my one brother, and my grandmother, and then after all three of them passed, like by the time I was 27, I think, it just kind of left me wondering, like, why am I still here, and what does God have planned for me? And so everything that I do in life, I just feel like it's a reason for me to be here, and that He has things that He wants me to accomplish and things that He wants me to do in the world. And I really think my gift is love. So when I do meet people, that's what I try to spread and embrace people with.
No, definitely, and I can really see that just from when I met you. You know what I mean? I can feel the warmness around it, and it felt good. And we don't have enough people that actually, we let life destroy us to the point where we become cold, and it changes us. And it's just like, you weren't intended to be so heartless and cold. You know what I mean? Even the women, because women are supposed to, technically, in societal norms, right? Be the soft, be the comfort zone. And nowadays, a lot of women got a harder shell than men.
Tell me about it.
You know what I mean? For good reasons, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like things that I go through in life, I could allow it to turn me into that person.
Yeah.
And every time I encounter something that just doesn't go well, like in relationships or dealing with men, I feel like the hardening coming on, but I push back on it. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to allow this to change who I am. I'm not going to allow my heart to be changed. I'm not going to have a black heart. Like, I'm going to keep having the courage to love, because eventually something good has to come out of it, you know?
Right.
And I'm always a little hesitant, like, to talk about love and relationships kind of with men. But lately, I'm finding there are so many men who have no desire to love or be in a relationship, and they will flat out tell you, like, I don't want no relationship, and let alone marriage, right? And so I've gotten to the point to where I don't really want to blame sisters, but I'm starting to, like, take a deeper dive into what part are we playing in this, because obviously most of our brothers don't feel that black women are a safe space, you know, for them to even put their heart and their trust in. And I just wonder, like, what can we do better? Because if none of the black men want to be in a relationship, then it leaves us to either be okay with being alone or date outside of our race, which most of us do not want to do that. But what do you do if all the black kings want to be alone?
Right. Whew. Now that's heavy, because that is very true. And I can speak for myself, and I can speak for some brothers that I know. And one being myself is like, you know, just getting out of, if I can be transparent, just getting out of a relationship, and the things that I felt, and I didn't feel like, you know, you feel like a lot of black men bury what they go through, in fear that they will look weak to their partner, or in fear that it'll get brought up again. And then it starts arguments, and or the emotional load gets switched. You know, you let's just say you have a issue with your partner, and how she doing things, and you try to come in a respectful way, and she kind of flips it back on you, and then you just like, well, I'm just trying to come to you with love, you know, and communication and stuff like that. And I feel like a lot of brothers is just like, well, if I can't talk to you, if I can't communicate with you in a certain type of way, and if this communication doesn't advance us in the future, what's the point? You know?
It's all about communication. It's key, and a lot of people do not know how to communicate or are open to it. You know, people shut down a lot.
Right.
Yeah, I've been divorced like 5 years now,
Wow.
but probably living single like over 10 years,
I know how that
And
is.
so, yeah, a lot of times I like could care less about it, but every now and then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put myself back out there and start dating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard, man, and it's like, I ain't to that point, to be honest. But when you looking at social media and you talking to your single friends and
Yes.
and they tell you some stuff going on, you be like, man, I'm cool, just chilling by myself,
Yes.
or to go eat food by myself,
Yes.
read this book by
Yes.
myself or whatever. But it's not always healthy.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah.
So much unhealthy stuff.
Yeah.
I have a good friend who was married a lot of years, and she told me when you do decide to have a husband, you have to be prepared to share everything you have.
Come on now.
And she said,
Say that one more time.
She said
Say that one more time.
deeply, you gotta be prepared to share everything
Say
you
that.
have. I mean, if it's your last sandwich,
Yeah.
you gotta be willing to give them half of it,
Yeah, right.
So it's a lot that you have to be prepared for when you come into it.
And that makes me think of the topic of being selfless.
Yes, selfless love.
Selfless love.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And I'm not saying sacrifice, because I think sacrifice is different from compromise.
Yes, it is.
But because if you're asking somebody to sacrifice, you asking somebody to take something out that they love for you.
Very true.
But if you asking somebody to compromise, you asking them to work around the issue, still keep what you love doing,
Yes.
and honor that, right?
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
I have 3 sons,
Whoa.
3 adult young black men, and
Okay.
so for me, it's also big just knowing what they're gonna encounter. And I've raised them with so much love, like love them to where whenever they're out, they tell all their friends, like, I love you, man, and some men,
That's dope.
aren't really open to that.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I raised them to be great men, and I didn't consider the type of women that they might come across.
And a lot of men don't. I wish my mom would have told me more about women.
Man.
In the nature of women
Yeah.
before I got out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How did you kind of teach your son about dating and
Well,
stuff like
I
that?
don't think I did good to prepare them for all type of women.
Okay.
I think that I really just tried to show them the way that I love them and the way that they love me and the way women should be treated. And so all 3 of my sons have girlfriends ever since they were in high school, middle school. If it's their girlfriend's birthday, I'm going out my way to make sure they got a gift to give, some flowers to give, birthdays, Valentine's Day.
That
just
respect.
teaching them, how to love. But I just don't like when they come across the ones that, they not the type to give that to, and it's really hard to see, your son go through heartbreak or something. So,
Right.
and then after a while, it had me like, dang, should have raised them to be from the Slap-a-Hoe tribe,
Right.
But
there's a fine line. The Slap-a-Hoes, you know what I mean?
But man.
Yeah. It's and again, like in society, it's not always talked about that sometimes women can be kind of predatory too. And they get away with it because sometimes women are seen as the more friendly or the more loving again.
Yes.
But that's not always true. It's some
Who done raised them.
Yeah.
Some of them, they done been raised to use what they got to get what they want.
What? Got them diamonds out there.
Yeah, they done been around aunties and
Yeah.
that's teaching them a whole totally different thing from using their mind, to elevate.
Ooh, it was all right. So this is the best thing that I do. Usually we just jump in. I'm here with Nyesha, a beautiful artist out of the Bay Area, Richmond, California, to be exact. works in the medical industry, right?
Yes.
Yes, works in the medical industry. I just found out that she is an author, so give it up.
Thank you.
Please go buy her book. It's a 3-part, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the name of the book again?
Heart of Diamonds by Nyesha Nicole Harris.
A Heart of Diamonds. Make sure y'all go get that. We're talking about love. I feel like because of her enormous heart, that she is a love guru because she embodies that love. That is who she is, and that's what we talking about right now.
Yes.
This is the first topic of love we talked about on the podcast.
Really?
Yeah. This is the first, but I think it's great because it's fruitful. Who don't love?
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Yes, it's big, and I think we need to talk about it more. Like, I just feel like it needs to be talked about all the time, and I wish that there was some way we could start like a Black Love Challenge. Like, I just have visions of like how do we bring Black men and women together to learn the importance of like marriage and love and family, and like I think it's so important, but I don't know how we get there. But I think people that are trying to start like dating apps or bring people together is a start. If it could just be a little more serious, because I did the pop the balloon. And
you did that?
I did. It was a joke.
It is. It's for like viral moments, right?
It was.
Yeah. So. That's good. That was a good experience.
It was fun.
Do you think our image of dating needs to be decolonized?
I think, I don't know, I would be on the fence with that because I mean, I am for like Black love, you know, but I'm also open to others being open to whatever their choice is, you know, like I don't feel like I want to put anybody else in a box, and I'm learning that sometimes other races seem to be more kind, more loving, like as far as my sons go and what I want for them, you know. Sometimes the Black girls, they just be on some other stuff, you know. So I don't know, but I just wish that we could get better.
And I feel you, and I also see that stemming from generational things that's going on in their lives and stuff like that, and what they seen. You know, for a lot of the Black women. And also too, what I mean by like decolonizing, like the dating. What are y'all looking for? Right? Because a lot of times we're looking for, well, let's say women. I hear women all the time. I never really hear men say what they looking for. Right? I hear a lot of women, oh, I need a brother that's 6'2". He needs to be making over $150,000 a year. He needs to be the materialistic thing. He needs to be able to take me out 3 times a week. He needs no kids. He needs to
get you nowhere.
It gets you nowhere. And I'm like, where are these lies being fed, or these expectations being fed? And why are you not looking into yourself to see what you need? Because you could have all of that. Like my uncle was gonna say one time, and I'm gonna be just straight. This is how he talk. He said you could have everything in the world, but it can be a nigga with all the money in the world and Ferrari with AIDS.
Ain't that the truth?
Come on now.
You don't know what come with that money. A whole bunch and a lot of problems, and you don't know what you'll get wrapped up in trying to chase after that.
Right.
Do you remember on my podcast when I talked about like what I look for in a man, the qualities? I really had to put that out there because I kind of had a confrontation with a girlfriend because she was trying to tell me that I'm going too low and that I need to be looking for a man with like credit and this and this and that. And I had to tell her, like, look, I have 3 sons, and I don't want my son with no girl that's only wanting to be with him because of what he has. Because if he has nothing, that's the person who you want to be with when you have everything. And I feel like if I meet a man who has all this money, he could lose it next week. And then what? Then I'm be with him regardless. So why look for that? I feel like the qualities that you look for in a man is someone who has dignity, pride, self-respect, who's capable of love, you know, and who respects you. I think if you have those qualities, everything else you can build that and get it together. Like if you smart enough, like you find a man, I can help you find a job. You know,
Right.
we can make a resume. We can go get X,
Yeah.
Y, and Z. We can think of a business together. Like
Right.
it's so much you can do. Like it's not based on finances.
Right. And that's real is because you can't buy that stuff.
You can't.
You can't buy character. You can't buy self-respect. You know, a lot of people, especially in this day and age, they sell their self-respect for likes. They sell it for money and monetary things and stuff like that. And that's the same. That's the same when men are looking for women.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They all want to know what you bringing to the table.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of just saying, I'm bringing me. All right, well, what is that?
Yeah, no, I had some man tell me, he asked me if I knew the percentage of black women that make six figures, and I didn't know, and he was telling me that I was like part of like 10% or some small number of the population, and I was like, oh, okay, so like, it just makes me like feel like I don't know how to protect myself, at the same time putting myself out there, because most people when they see me it's just like a dollar sign or an outlet to get somebody, you know, get something from me. And so I'm very giving, but also just trying to make sure that I protect myself.
Right. And that makes sense, because again, we are talking about love, and but we also have to talk, when we talk about love, self-love means boundaries, right?
Very true.
It means vetting people out.
Yes.
And making sure they just not there just because they hard on times, or that's their next lick or something like that.
How long does that take to really know?
Sometimes people can play that role for years. If that's them, they can do that. That's what they do, and they can be very good at that. But I'm a firm believer in God, and everything will be revealed. Everything. If you want to see that, if you want to see that shit, who's there for you in your life, and you're not really sure, just sit back and pay attention. It's gonna reveal itself to you every single time.
That's my main prayer. I always ask God for discernment and for Him to help me see and show me what's not for me, and to protect me from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. And it's been working. Like I'll meet men and they'll just say, "I'm no good for you. Like you should find somebody better." And I'm like, "Thank you."
Hey, rejection is your protection. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes, something else.
Delayed but not denied.
Exactly, you know? And I had to tell myself that too.
Yeah, I agree with that. But what he was saying though, go back to what bro was saying about, actually black women are the most educated, the leading entrepreneurs, and on the rise in economic, before like Trump got in office. I don't know what it is now. But y'all was the upper echelon. But the black man was lower. So you can kind of see, just based upon the statistics, why it's hard for black men and black women to love if we're talking about an economic thing. If we take it, and this is why we talk about decolonize, taking something out, right? If we didn't have a white man's economics, right, and the white man's standards, buy a house, X, Y, and Z, what would that love look like? Could we come to each other whole?
Yeah, very true.
You know what I mean?
Very true.
If he didn't have to hustle, if he didn't have to get chased by the police, if he didn't have to watch his back, if he didn't, you know, and she didn't have to worry about her heart, if it's safe or not, infidelity and stuff very like true. That, where will we be?
Because it's so hard on black men. And if you don't understand that, like, you will never get anywhere in a relationship with a black man. Like, you have to come from that. Like, you have to experience the hood. You have to experience hunger. You have to experience having to go outside and hustle to get your next meal. You have to really, really be in it to understand it. And I don't think a lot of people do. Yeah, and I feel like me, myself, no matter what my status is or how much money I make, I want to be with someone that has grown up and experienced my culture.
Yeah.
I think they're going to understand me and I'm going to understand them.
Yeah.
I don't want no doctor or no lawyer to be with because they not going to understand me, you know?
Mm-hmm. And I think like that's the biggest part, like when you talk about like wanting to be in a relationship with people that look like you, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not because you hate other people, it's because of the shared experience and the legacy building and just
I believe that love is uncontrollable force. It's a silent killer that shows